Good afternoon. I'm Rich Brock, and we're doing the first of a series of talking to our favorite clients. We've built hundreds of homes, and we wanted to share the experiences from the client's view. I was talked into doing this by my staff to be the interviewer. So here I am. And today I have John Hogan, who's lived in two of our homes now. We built two homes for his family, and we're gonna do a quick Q&A and get some of his feedback. So we're excited to have you here,
Yeah, I'm
and
excited to be here, man.
Rez, thank you for being here. Tell me how you and Dan are enjoying your bedrock home at this point.
We love it. This is the second home we built with you, and the first one was absolutely magnificent, but it was just a little too big for us. So we kind of downsized and built the floor plan that we really felt would be good for us, and it's turned out to be just wonderful. We're nestled in Colonial Miramonte. We love it there. It's a real quiet community. The views are fantastic, and the house has just been everything we've ever wanted.
So that's fantastic. How would you describe, obviously you brought some of it up, how would you describe living in the home and the experience with our staff?
Yeah, so, both from a build perspective, I think people were attentive, they listened to us. I don't care what you do, you build a set of plans and you kinda have an idea of what things are gonna look like and turn into, and you get into it, and then inevitably, it's a little different, right? But your staff was, very accommodating, spent time to hear us and understand, and then made changes, along the way, and, had built a high quality home that, we really enjoyed.
Cool. So let me ask you, we built your first home. After the first home, what made you decide to do another bedrock home?
Well, it was kinda 2 things. I mean, the reason we decided to build another one was because we had downsized from our original family house, but we felt like it was still kinda big for just the 2 of us. And we wanted to find a little more turnkey situation for us, given that we go back to the East Coast for the summer. And we had such a good experience with the first house, and the quality of it as well as the process just led us to come back. We didn't even give 1 ounce of consideration of going anywhere else.
Wow. So I'm assuming the experience was amazing, the construction was amazing, and the service was fantastic. So that would be summing up really why you felt confident going round two with us.
Yeah, for sure. I had a good experience. The quality of the home, what you guys said you were going to do, you did. And proof was in the pudding. We went to sell that house after living in it for 3.5 years, and people were clamoring for it, right? Because of the quality of the build, your reputation, as well as the fact that it was, so well constructed.
Wow, that's great. So that's a great testimonial. I can't thank you enough for that.
Yeah.
And of course, we feel great about what we were able to deliver to you and your family. So the next question I have is, this is an interesting shift because you've been a client. What gave you the confidence to go from I'm a Bedrock client to now an investor in our business?
Yeah, I think for me, right, anytime I look at investment, it's about 2 things, right? It's about the quality of the product or what type of product that you're supporting and backing. And 2, it's about the people. Because if you surround yourself with the right people that have the right capability, they're going to be successful. Coupled with the fact that if you're selling a product that people want, that is high quality, that's in demand, you're going to be successful again. So as I kind of looked at opportunities, and we've had 2 projects we do that we've completed and sold, and I had a wonderful outcome in return. And I've got 4 going on with you at the moment. And when I look at that, I really decided to do it because Bedrock builds a quality home that's in demand. And I think their follow up and their service and their capability and their reputation really lends itself for successful outcomes. And then coupled with, I had just fantastic experiences with your people, not just you personally, but everybody I've dealt with, right? We had a project manager that was actively engaged in our projects. We had a superintendent that I could go to and talk about things. You're really integrated with the architect. You're integrated with the interior design elements, and working as a team through all that, it just produces a much better product. It met our needs, right? So I never had another reason to think about going somewhere else. And as I thought about investment opportunities, I got excited about what you're going to continue to build. And look, the first 2 have been absolutely fantastic outcomes. And I look forward to the next 4 being equally as such.
Well, I'm signing you up as our official promoter.
There you go.
That's awesome. Thank you for that answer. The question I really have is, as an investor now, and I know you're answering some of these, but they're all kind of
Yeah.
detailed, a little different. As an investor, what do you see behind the scenes that reinforces your belief in the company?
Yeah, I think for first and foremost, I think flexibility. Again, I mentioned earlier, I don't care what project you go into, whether it's from an investment or you're building your personal house. You start out with a set of ideas and plans, and you need to be flexible enough to kind of move a little left, a little right. Now, there's obviously implications on all that, but the reality of it, the fact that people are willing to really dig in, listen, understand, and bring great ideas to the table, not only in terms of alternatives, but things to consider, think about based on your years of experience, it's just been invaluable. And I think both when I think about it as, hey, we're making investments for others, right, that they're going to enjoy the outcome, or my own personal situation, I think that flexibility and experience just really brings a lot to the table.
We've been building for 27 years, and we didn't start out building ultra luxury, right? It's a process. It's a growth process. It's an evolution. It's learning, gaining knowledge. So we consider ourselves today as the premier ultra luxury home builder. What do you think most people don't realize about what goes into building at this level?
I think it's a little bit of maybe a little bit of time it takes, and the fact that it requires an integration beyond just a builder, right? You need to have the right architect involved working with the builder as a team. You need to have the right interior designers working as a team, and then the voice of the homeowner as part of that process. And to get to a high quality product, it takes all that stuff working together, I think, to kind of produce, an outstanding result.
Right.
And the complexity of that, isn't something that just everybody can manage through.
Yeah, I would add the details
Yeah.
are critical, right? I mean, it's just knowing how things go together.
And it's a little like a puzzle, right? So knowing which parts to go after first and how they're going to fit and being able to see down the road a little bit
Yeah,
are all valuable things. So I think we've talked about your experience, and it's just not your experience, right? It's the people that are working for you, the contractors you use,
that's
the
right.
people they've been at that table before, and that vision that he can bring to the conversation, and what they can foresee, and how that comes together. It's very different in a kind of a high end luxury home versus something that's more. I'm going to use the word modular. It may not be the appropriate word, but it takes that kind of experience and connectivity, to kind of get the right outputs.
That's right. And I would add to that, to augment what you said, we have over 500 years of experience in house. If someone asked me to build the type of homes we're building on my own, it probably couldn't be done. You got to have your team. You have your team of experts that have the experience and knowledge, and that's how you get to this level.
Yeah.
So it's taken a while, but we feel like we're at the top of the.
And for sure, that's part of why I think that deciding to become an investor was easier, right? Because I saw and experienced firsthand that experience, that connectivity, and how it does come together. I think it was really important.
Right. Awesome. If someone was on the fence about building or investing with us, what would you tell them?
I think it gets back to a little bit of what we talked about. I would tell them that they definitely should make the commitment. I actually, on my first house, had talked to a number of builders in the process, but I think that what's made me choose Bedrock was the fact that they took the time to listen, to really understand what we were trying to get accomplished, and they were willing to help along that conversation with no guarantee they were ever going to get a job. And a lot of people that I talked to, they were willing to bid jobs, but they kind of weren't willing to kind of really spend that time getting to know us and getting to really understand. I think it was a big difference.
What details did we care about without even thinking to ask you?
I don't know if I can specifically kind of point out a detail, but I'll talk about the concept. The people that were active every day in the project, they were thinking about things that we hadn't thought about, and they bring concepts, ideas. Hey, I know that you were going to do this, but did you think about this? And if you do this, this is what the outcome's going to be. Yeah, and they were very proactive in that conversation for us. And then, look, there's a whole complicated environment of building a home that the average person is not going to really be able to understand that they were ahead of, whether it's, capturing all of the rainwater on the property and in and we were challenged because we had a very small lot and them getting ahead of that and doing the right things for that to get through the city. We built during COVID and it was a challenging time with the city and getting permits, and we had to get a variance, ironically, that we really didn't need, but the city thought there was a road coming through our backyard that wasn't, because the plats hadn't been updated for, 60, 70 years. Your ability to kind of foresee some of that, work through some of that really helped us in our ability to get what we wanted and ultimately achieve, an outcome that was successful.
It's great to hear. What's a moment from one of our builds that still sticks with you?
I guess it'd be two things, and I just talked about one of them, right? When we had to get that variance, and it was during COVID, the city was giving us, I'd say a difficult time, not because they didn't want to approve it, but it was a challenge for them. You guys got involved, engaged, kind of got hands-on with the city to kind of help explain and get through. And I don't know that you had to do that, right? Because at that point in time, we hadn't started the project yet. We were just getting ready. I'd already bought a home. We were going to tear it down and do the new build. But you taking those steps, those extra steps, really made a difference. And the last piece at the very end of the project, when we were trying to get it completed, unfortunately, they had tore up the road in front of our house and they were reconstructing it. Crews and if you walked, half a mile up the hill with tools to try to get it finished on, based on the commitments you made. And, a lot of crews, I don't think would have done that. So it's not even people that work for you directly, but it's people that you use as providers that are committed to you and willing to do things above and beyond to get to the right outcomes. Those were unique experiences for us.
So that's interesting because that leads me to my last question. Since the site was so difficult for us, we thought that we were wondering if you have identified the new location for your third bedrock home.
Well, Rich, I can tell you, and I won't say never, but I'm pretty sure my wife would divorce me if we let this wonderful house we own.
Let's ask Diane, would you?
No, seriously, we really enjoy our house. We haven't really thought about, kind of moving at this stage. It's just turned out to be a perfect outcome for us. So, but if we ever did build again, I will promise you we would use BedBrock.
That's fantastic. Well, I so much appreciate you taking all this time. This is the first of, and hopefully you'll become famous.
I doubt that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.